Hi, I'm Tony, this is Slack, welcome to Smog Vlog. Today we're going to be reviewing the Hell's Gate 200 watt by Yep.
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 Yep. Right guys, welcome back. Yeah, so like we said, we're reviewing the Hell's Gate 200 watt touch it up sucker, and yeah, this is going to be a mini review. Now that's a mini review for us. This is probably an average length review for most other people. Unlike our normal reviews where we go through piece by piece, we're going to sort of chuck the hardware together at the start, talk about the box itself, then we're going to talk about the software, you know, the features, what you can do with it, then we're going to finish as always with cons and finish on the pros. Yeah, finishing twice. And so, without further ado, before we get into any of that shit, let's dive down for an unboxing.
Okay guys, here we are with the unboxing of the Hell's Gate Touch 200 watt. Quick tour around the box. It's a clear perspex box, so you can pretty much see everything that's in there. You got this white band running round it, so you can't actually read the back until we open it up. You can got a little scratch and sniff code there at the bottom. Not too much anywhere else on the whole of the box. So dun 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 dun. I should really get a sharper knife next time. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, shiny-itis. Shiny-itis. Oh, that's great. It's got bloody scratches down it already. Bit of battery vent in there on the bottom. Jeez, it's down this side as well. Well, like I said, maybe that will polish out. Go button, USB, and your 510. Ooh, that's very springy. That's got a good action on it. Loads of movement up and down, which is always a nice start. Sorry, we've launched straight into that. I don't usually do that, but you know, it was a big screen, so I got distracted. There's your USB cable. Colours, stainless steel, red, black and blue. And on the back of the box, God, they're actually listing it on the box now, and they're not hiding it. They're actually quite forthcoming in that it is a selling point. Well, if I've already bought it, I don't need to be sold another one, do I? As we've seen in the past, the battery pull cord thing is in the middle of the sled, so you have to do some creative wrapping to be able to get your batteries back out again. Nothing yet. 5 clicks. So temperature control mode, variable wattage mode, puff info, background locking help. There's no scroll screen. Wonder what help says. Oh, that's good. So it'll give you your hardware version and your firmware version, and a unique serial number. Wow, this is giving you sort of like another sales spiel, and it's actually built into the mod itself. So just for shits and giggles, we'll put Cletus on there. Right, it's read the atomizer at 0.4, which is right. Both my batteries are coming up right. Now, although Slack will be doing our favourite button pushes in a bit, it's worth noting just here in the unboxing that this wattage can change not only by these directional buttons here, but also on the screen as well. And the further you move away from that number in either direction, the quicker it will scroll. So when you're vaping it and if you're right-handed and you're holding it like this, it will be moving numbers about because it will be registering your palm as touching the screen. So that is why they've added the locking feature to lock the screen, so that there's no room for error. So for now, back to the studio.
And welcome back in the room after that awesome unboxing. I think we'll all agree.
Did you unbox it?
I did.
Ah.
Right, so onto the hardware now. Obviously, the big draw for this type of unit is that touch screen, which, though a little temperamental, you know, it gets the job done. Unfortunately, those scroll speeds, though, are a bit
Temperamental. That's where the temperamental kicks in. It's erratic at best.
Unfortunately, it is let down by that 3-inch TFT touchscreen. The resolution being 360 by 240 is, coupled with that fact, because it is a TFT screen, you have really bad viewing angles on it, and coupled with the fact, because it's that TFT screen again, poor power efficiency.
Beyond the screen itself, you know, you have this sort of zinc alloy construction, which has got like a lightly brushed stainless steel sort of effect going around the outsides, almost reminiscent of the Snowwolf there. Then on the inside, around the screen, you've got this sort of black plastic thing going on. That comes in a variety of colours: black, red, blue and silver, I believe. Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes for that Snowball feel still, but it just comes out like a bit of a cheap copy rather than, you know, a sort of contender.
For the mod itself, it's, you know, a pretty standard 200 watt dual 18650 mod. The battery door cover is removable, and, you know, when it is removed it feels cheap and plasticky, but when it's actually on the unit,
rock solid.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
You don't notice it's there really. It could have fixed built-in batteries for all you know. It's decent. As well as the battery door not being rattly, the go button isn't at all rattly. There's no rattle on this device at all, which is a nice change.
And while we're in that neck of the woods, the battery slots in the battery sled are clearly labelled, and it is easy to install batteries in there, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the same design as the Lysimo L1. However, unlike that, where you're fighting to get your batteries in, this is like a breeze, works really well. And while we're talking about the batteries, it'd be worth mentioning the 7 fairly large holes in the bottom for battery venting, which is nice.
Moving on now to the top of it, the 510 pin, it's nicely sprung loaded, centre pin, and the screw threads are decent.
And while we're up the top, there's a sort of rounded off area around here for your Atty to sit on. That sits at about 23mm, but it's completely flat across the top. It doesn't sit in a cup, so even if you're going above a 23mm unit, you are going to be alright. You know, you could stick your 40mm ridiculous thing on it and it would work okay. Looks stupid, but it would work.
Or does it?
Yeah. It looked like a penis just because of the big bulbous top.
Yep. And lastly, for the hardware side of things, you have the USB port on the side of it with 2 LED indicators. Now, while it's for charging, it's probably best that you just hop those batteries out there and use a dedicated charger, like we always say.
Yep, it also does firmware updates on it, but most importantly, I don't know if this is coming out with the blurry video, it's the happiest looking USB charger I've ever seen. Brilliant, love it. That's worth the admission price alone. Right, now we're going to talk about the software. You know, this is like the menu operation, the functionality of the device, shit like that. So the first thing that we've just alluded to in the hardware is that this is firmware updatable. So some of these things may change with time and hopefully improve with time. But, you know, for now we're going to run through what we've got. Protections wise, it's got all the usual protections. You know, you've got short circuit protection, low resistance, high resistance, reverse battery protection, PCB overheat protection, all that good stuff. As well, while we're in the features, it's also got pass-through, so you can vape while you charge.
Nextly, it does the standard temperature control on stainless steel, titanium and nickel. No adjustable TCR yet, hopefully be coming with a firmware update, maybe, who knows.
Right. So while in temp control, it's got the standard sort of range of 100 to 300 degrees C.
And that'll be 200 to 600 Fahrenheit for our American cousins.
In terms of resistance, it's pretty much a standard affair. In power mode, 0.1 ohms through to 3 ohms. In temp control, it goes from 0.5 up to 1 ohm.
So obviously you have the whole touchscreen menu access thing going on. Though there is a weird off-screen, the plus and minus buttons and the menu button aren't actually part of the whole touchscreen affair, so it kind of begs the question, what the fuck is going on there? So yeah, let's have a quick dive down and have a look at that menu operation stuff up close.
Right, let's show the buttons up close. The first thing we need to do is unlock it by pressing the menu button and saying, yes, I want to unlock the touch. There we go, we can now touch it, and you can see how the touchscreen works really well for taking the temperature up and down. Yeah, so like this side seems to work a bit better, but this side not so much. It's a little bit temperamental. It does work, but you've also got these buttons down here which work pretty cool. They're flush with the screen, you know, so that's that. Menu wise, you just hit that menu button that isn't a button there, and you can select your temp control mode first, and you've got a choice between nickel on centigrade or nickel in Fahrenheit, titanium and stainless steels down the bottom. I have got stainless steel in here and I want it in centigrade, so I'm going back in there. Next up in the menu, you've just got your wattage mode where you can manually adjust your wattage. You have a puff counter. You can cycle through your backgrounds. You can lock the screen, this is the all important one, so you're not accidentally firing stuff. And lastly, you've got this really useful help feature which cycles through information about your device. It shows you all what it can do, all its modes, your protections. One thing Tony wanted to point out, that it's when smoking, e-cig companies should not be using the term smoking, because you are not smoking unless you're burning your cotton, in which case something's gone wrong. Like, you know, a 200 watt hit. And lastly, for Uppy Closey, look how happy he is. That is one happy USB port. Yeah.
Back to the studio.
Fuck back to the studio.
So, as well as firmware upgrading with that USB port, you can also upload your own wallpaper into this bad boy. Not something we bothered with, but you know, it's a thing you can do.
It also comes preloaded with exclusive software that enables you to puff counter this shit.
Yeah, if that's your thing, we would love to hear from you. Someone must do it.
No, don't say that. You don't identify yourselves. Don't.
And lastly, there is one actually very important feature in here: the screen lock. You know, you've got an option to lock the screen or lock the whole device. You will need screen lock if you are using this bad boy. If you don't, bad things will happen. We will talk about that later. That is it from this section. Let's move across to cons and pros and pros and cons.
Okay, like Slack said, pros and cons, starting with the cons. First up, that screen is just shit. Viewing angles, awful.
Yeah, TFT screen. I mean, welcome back 1990 something, you know. Meh. Next up on the cons list is quite a big one. The touchscreen is fucking stupid. It's one of those good ideas on paper. It's going to suck you in. You think, oh, touchscreen, maybe that's the future of vaping. Maybe this is what we need in our lives, you know. And on paper, it sounds great. You know, menu access just at the... Yeah, that sounds good. However, what happens is you go to take a hit if you haven't remembered to lock it. You take your 40 watt hit, then the next hit's going to be 200 watt, because with your ear or your fucking chin or your hand or whatever you've been touching it with, you've gone and whacked it up to 200 watts. And let me tell you this, the Aspire Cleto coils do not like being fired at 200 watts. My throat does not like Aspire Cleto coils being fired at 200 fucking watts. It's just a fucking dumb idea. Now, when Nokia came out with their touchscreens, you know, we were moving away from button stuff, yeah, into touchscreens. Everyone was fucking dialing people and sending text messages with their ear while they're on the phone. It took fucking years to get past that, and we've gone back there with vaping. I may sound a bit angry about this. There's a good reason for that. I'm fucking angry about this. It was such a good idea on paper. I feel so fucking let down. It's very disappointing. Tony, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, give me a minute. Well, yeah, this is now 5 minutes later, because I didn't realise Slack had such feelings about it. I knew that I had feelings about it, not quite as much as that. And I was the one that unboxed it. If you saw earlier, you see the unboxing video. Yeah, directly after that, I did a 200 watt hit, coincidentally enough, on a Cleto coil as well. Yes, it's not a nice feeling having 200 watts sort of like pushed down your throat, as opposed to nicely, gently inhaling. It's sort of like your lungs just sort of like fucking fill up with acrid fucking smoke. Yeah, didn't learn my lesson from that, and about 2 minutes later did it again. Not happy. So that's why we say that the importance of having that screen lock on there. But the whole touchscreen thing, I don't know, it's just not been well implemented here at all.
Yeah, you've got that screen lock, but it's a pain to go through the menu to get to that screen lock and turn it on. It's not a quick operation, and that's the point in a touchscreen, you know, to have everything there at your fingertips. Now, I'll tell you what would have suited this is like a mechanical lock, similar to the iStick 100 watt TC. Something like that, where you could just turn that screen on or off for touch. That would be brilliant. That would actually massively improve this device.
Next up is no adjustable TCR for it, which again we've already said, but it's probably coming with a firmware update if the company's still going.
While we're on temp control and talking around that, one thing that I've noticed it doesn't do is remember the settings you're at. So if you're vaping stainless steel at like 250 degrees C and then switch to titanium and you wanted to vape that at like 150 where you usually vape it just got to be still on the 250 from your stainless steel. They're not like profiles that it literally switches the coil type. Now it's not a big problem, and other devices do a similar thing, but you know, it just would have been better if they were sort of more profile based.
Next up for you is titanium on temperature control. It's reading a bit wonky. We've had titanium builds on here that only allow the device is only allowing itself to go up to 134 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, so obviously that's going to be a problem for you. If you're trying to vape titanium at 200 degrees C, it won't read that it's gone above 134, even though it's just chucking out really, really hot vape. So, you know, temp control's not really working there. You can still get a good vape out of it, and it is usable, kind of, but it doesn't work as it's supposed to. Right, that's enough ragging on the device for now. Let's move on to the pros so we can try and finish on a high. So yeah, the first pro is out of the box. Stainless steel and nickel work really well in temp control. It's very simple to use. You just select your temp control and it works. Yeah, it's good.
Next up for the pros is the choosing between centigrade and Fahrenheit is a nice process on the big touchscreen. You just, you know, go through the menu system. It's there. It's all laid out. You just pick and choose what you want straight away. There's no sort of scrolling through. Well implemented.
Next up is hardware-wise, the batteries are a dream to install. You know, this is how it should be, and when they're on, battery cover and the go button doesn't rattle. So yeah, it's hardware-wise fairly sound.
And lastly for the pros has got to be the fact that it has that USB and therefore has the firmware updatability to the system, so a lot of the niggles can be ironed out. Please. Yep, Sig, please.
Yep. Right, okay guys, that's it. It's time to sum up, and yeah, hardware-wise, it kind of works all right. You know, it's a fairly decent mod for doing the sort of basic functions, and yeah, it does work all right. But the touchscreen, which is the big draw of this unit, is kind of its big letdown as well, which ultimately is a shame.
So yeah, this is Sig's sort of first foray into the touchscreen sort of market. It was a fairly decent attempt. There's been a few other reviews I've seen of this done where the reviewers haven't been quite so receptive to it. I think one of them using a hammer on it. I don't think it's that bad. It has potential, especially with the fact that it's firmware capable to be updated and have those niggles ironed out, like we said. Hopefully Sig will be introducing more iterations down the line where they have better thought out the implementation of the whole device. And in closing, lastly, absolutely last fucking thing, for God's sakes, use that fucking lock button. Okay guys, that about wraps it up for this review. We hope that you've enjoyed it. Our little, you know, fucking small mini review. Small, mini, small. Very, very quick.
We're under an hour. We're doing good.
We're doing good. If we are doing it for you, drop us a like and do the whole subscribe thing. It helps us out a lot. If you'd also be so kind, follow us on social media.
Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. We are quite chatty. Talking of which, if you've got any questions about this device, you can hit us up here in the comments or on the social medias.
And also don't forget to follow us or chat to us over on Facebook, New World Vaping UK, because we're quite chatty over there as well and active. But for now, guys, thank you for watching Smog Vlog. Hi, I'm Tony, this is Slack, welcome to Smog Vlog. Today we're going to be reviewing the Hell's Gate, I don't know what the fuck it is, Hell's Gate Touch 200 Watt by
Yep.
e-cig.
Just Yep.
Well, it says
That's their website. The company's Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Mini review.
We're going to fly through it
Well, fly through it.
as soon as we start.
I think we're going to fly it through the fucking window. Ready?
Yep.
Oh shit.
Yep.
This evening was going to be so productive. And then you decided to review this. Yep.
Yep.
Fuck's sakes. Ready?
Yep. Yep. A mini review.
Mini review.
By our standards.
Not feature length.
Yeah. So, without further ado, let's start with the hardware.
Surely it should be an unboxing.
Oh, yeah, okay. That was good up until that point. And so, without further ado, before we get into any of that shit, let's dive down for an unboxing. I sound very Australian. Let's dive down for an unboxing. Struth, look at the size of that fucker.
Okay.
Have to get my old buffing cloth out later. Right, it's read the atomizer at 0.4, which is right. Both my batteries are coming up right.
As we're talking about the batteries.
Batteries.
In the unit, we have the batteries. And,
1, 2,
And while we're talking about the batteries, it'd be worth mentioning the 7 fairly large holes in the bottom for battery venting, which is nice.
Large holes in the bottom. Yeah.
This will be a quick review if Tony can get his mind out the gutter.
No fucking chance. Feature length.
Well, thank you.
Well, you did say 7 large holes, so presumably you've been missing a few times.
Oh, God.
Stop making me laugh, I'm trying to drink tea.
You're making yourself laugh. See? It's like the Chewbacca mask all over again. Yeah.
You're not knocking the microphone, are you?
I'm not knocking the microphone.
No, I'm just making sure you're not sort of making grazing noises.
I'm not
on it.
touching it.
So just touch it a little bit.
Just the tip. Yep.
And lastly, for the hardware side of things, you have the USB port.
P-bot.
Oh, fucking batteries and P-ports.
As well, while we're in the features, it's also got pass-through for charging while you vape. Vaping while you charge. It was good until the last bit. We're still filming, yeah? Sorry, I nodded off there for a while.
Fuck off.
Yep.
Right, let's show you the buttons up.
Time counter, and then I'll finish it. Tony, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, give me a minute. Oh shit! Oh god, I need a wee now.
I thought we'd look frozen. I know we're just not moving. That's banging for temp control.